and welcome to Precious Moments. My name is Busisiwe Nomaswazi Gunene. As we celebrate Women's Month, we are still talking to women of substance. And one such woman of substance is none other than Penny Lebyane. She is a broadcast connoisseur, with decades of experience in the broadcasting sector. She's doing advocacy work with young girls and women. She has her own foundation. Ndibala Ntonina. Penny, welcome to Precious Moments.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for your time. I know you have a busy schedule.
I appreciate it, Noah. I love making time for important conversations.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. We appreciate you. To start off, Penny, tell us about Penny, the young girl who grew up, go Bushbuck Ridge before she moved to Soweto. How was life like? Your dreams and aspirations?
Well, I guess I would say, now that we have the language, I would say I've always wanted to be a woman of substance. I wanted to make impact. Yeah. Now I have the words for it. I wanted to be someone of significance in society. I wanted to, I think we grew up being told, you must represent your family name. Yes. You must represent your family. Yes. And I'm a Lebyane. Lebyane, where I come from, is not really a very popular surname. So my mom is like a Mashego. So Mashegos are like, Kumalo, Zo, Shabalala, surnames that are known. So my mom, so Lebyane, it's like small surnames there.
Drop in the ocean.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so it's like you one of a few. So I was just always those like kind of people. Where I grew up in Bushbuck Ridge, I did my formative primary school and everything there. And then obviously when I came to Gauteng, we first lived in the East Rand. I would come for school holidays, but we had family in Soweto, like Shawelo, like Ditloof, and all of that. And then eventually my parents bought a house at Pinville, and then that's where we moved. So I understood that we coming from Bushbuck Ridge, from a disadvantaged background. Yes. My dad is a blue-collar worker. My mom was like a housewife, not really, didn't have a career of some sort besides selling second-hand clothes or making curtains, and at some point trying to work a jet. So I knew that I had to make a name for myself.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think without even having understanding, I knew that your gifts will make a way for you.
True.
And now when I understand, I'm like, oh, that's what the word of God says. That's what it teaches you. Gifts will take you before kings. So literally I just was that kid, and in Soweto I did the things that other kids do. I was in a dance club. I was participating in la sihlala ngakhona senza ama beauty contest nabantwana abancane, and then esikoleni ran athletics, sang in choir, community choir. So I was just participating to keep myself busy.
Yes. Busy. Back in the days. Unlike today. Today it's like, it's a party, hably bubbly. We had more opportunities, if I can call it that. In terms
and I think we created them for ourselves. Yes. We organized kids in the neighborhood. I remember La Vesala Kwane is on for California, sends the beauty contest to Putoma, as allowed us to do it at Jardin Lake. And then if there's a dance club, a zone to a Pinville, would all walk there, 5-6 of us go to learn dance. If not, we're watching TV and then we're learning dance moves. So we do things like that. Yes. So we were not as exposed to like a lot of danger like now, where people are offering you drugs, alcohol, and all sorts of things. But we had our own dangers.
Yes.
I think it was the age of Amachek Rollers, and Chef Brown.
Yes.
So and I think they were phasing out. When I was going into high school, I was supposed to be is on 4. So that's like the era. So you had school and you had to to just keep yourself busy, and then you had church as well on Sundays.
Talking about the youth of today being exposed to drugs, alcohol, and all of that. I watched a podcast where you spoke about how alcoholic brands are using women in particular to promote that. And, previously, abafazi and alcohol, you would not associate them with that. That kind of touched me, like really deep. Because somebody might say, "Hi, you Penny," just because I get associated with an alcoholic brand, so we are pressure. And for me, as a woman, it actually took me back. Actually, she's right. what motivated you to I don't want to say think that far off, but maybe there was an incident triggerisha ukuthi no man, these people, as much as yes they are making money with the brands and all of that, but ayihlali kahle. Because vele yona ayihlali kahle.
I think okay.
I'll tell you, I mean, in December I had taken my son to Dubai because he plays soccer and he was going to a club there. In Dubai, when you cannot buy alcohol if you are under 21. In South Africa, it's under 18.
Yeah.
In Dubai, it's under 21. And you need a license to purchase alcohol.
Yeah.
It's like it's a taboo. Abakufuni nje ukubona bottle store. So if you're in the queue, come, Penny. You go to the front of the queue, but things sell fast and you must get out of the bottle store.
So obviously that's their culture of the nation, because they're a Muslim, Arabic Muslim nation. So I think for me, it's not even about the people who are brand ambassadors. And I think it's quick for people to think you're talking about the people. I'm not talking about the people.
You're talking about
I'm talking about a system. I'm not even talking about women. I'm talking about everyone. I'm talking about all of us. I'm talking about men and women. I'm talking about us black people. I'm talking about we all grew up in Lokshini, or in rural areas, knowing of the scourge and the impact of what alcohol has in our communities. I mean, we joke about things having a drunk uncle, in the family, but and yes, every now and again there'll be a drunk aunt, but it's when an alcoholic, actually not a drunk, an alcoholic uncle or an alcoholic auntie. And we know the impact that has had in our families. But my conversation is not about individuals. It's about how systematically, as the black community, yes, we indulged in alcohol, whether it's mqombothi moments of celebrations, or some of us, we had grandmothers who used to make ispayoni as a quick way of selling, making money.
Yes, my grandmother also
did that. But the reality of it is that even if those people sold that in our community, it was not a gluttonous, gloating business that they took pride in. I want to get this community.
It was for survival.
It was for survival. That's one. But secondly, we come from a history where we know that there was no alcohol industry in this country until the white people decided to commercialize it the way that to regulate it the way that they regulated. And then those gokos of ours used to get arrested for actually selling that alcohol, and that was homemade alcohol. At least they could explain to you what they made out of. Whereas this one that we're drinking, we don't even know what it's made out of. Number one, and then but more than anything else, there was a level of consciousness about the impact that it would have, and that's why I made a reference to when the women of 1956 marched. One of the line items, they wanted bank accounts, they wanted to own land. Me and you, right now you can inherit your parents' house, but there was a time when you couldn't as a girl. So those women, those are some of the things that they put. And one of the things that they put in ukuthi yabona lento yokuthi amadoda wethu mabaya emsebenzini, mabaya station, kune-bottle store la, bangena lapho. So bathatha le mali le bayiphuze, mabafika endlini akusenamali, bafuna ukudla kuyaliwa, imali yesikolo, yabo. So those women felt good. No, this thing is a problem. I mean, we can drink and have fun a little bit, but it can't be what controls our lives. So they put it as a line item. We don't want beer halls. So one of the things that you used to do, even in the 76 and 80s, they would ban beer halls in the townships. So now we have 10 taverns in one street. So before we get to people who are influencers, personalities, and also the whole thing what you're bashing because you're not part of it, I can be if I want. But I can't unconscientize myself. I knew when I got into the entertainment industry. I mean, I got into the entertainment industry where, it was taboo to pose holding even a glass of water. And then, and I also worked, with American international people who came to South Africa in the early 90s who would speak to me about the trajectory of entertainment, what are the dangers and the things, and I read.
Yeah.
So I knew that. So by the time I got into entertainment, I was aware that if you leave your drink unattended, you could be spiked. I knew that men can sexually exploit you. So I was aware of those things when I got into the entertainment industry. So it's not just that today because I spoke about it in a podcast. So I've always been conscious of that, and I've always been concerned. I don't understand why we had to lose Brenda Fassie. I really don't. Very talented. And I can tell you, we lost her because of alcohol, which she probably got introduced to at a very early age in the industry, and then became dependent on it. And they used it to exploit her.
Yeah.
So I hate that. I hate a lot of people who were so talented, that we lost a lot of people who were so talented, and there's alcohol and
drugs.
Yeah, by the time you get to drugs, it's like the introduction starts with alcohol. And in our industry, it's just have a drink. Yeah. You know, and you know, people don't say, do you have money for bread? They say, have a drink.
Yeah.
You drink
or
on the
people
job.
take you out.
Let's go out to lunch. Have a drink. But you know, and it's that, and people are willing to fill up a table for you, but they can't fill up your fridge.
True.
You know, so I despised that. You know, I socialize with my friends. We have drinks and all of that. But I'm just saying we need to be very conscious of how we're allowed to be victimized by a system that takes away so much from us. And also, I don't understand why alcohol brands are the only ones who are willing to sponsor us. When we buy cars, when we buy milk, when we buy water, when we buy books. There's so many things that we support. We buy all these businesses. Why are they not supporting us? Why is it only alcohol brands are willing to write checks for us? Because they don't respect us.
Yeah.
And they don't respect us also because we don't hold them accountable. You know, it's like, why are there no sponsorships left, right, and center of everything? Why is it only alcohol? All our events, all our events must be sponsored by alcohol. There's no budget for anything else.
As you walk through the door, there's a welcome drink.
What happened to the creative arts budget in marketing plans? What happened to it? It's gone. In all industries. The only industry that still has budget is alcohol. Jani. Why? I don't understand that. And I'm not even asking anyone.
Yeah.
I'm asking God. I'm asking myself. I'm asking the universe. Why? I want to know. I just want to know. And then I've always been observant of it. I mean, yes, our national teams are sponsored by these, and it's big business. But why is it the only ones? Are we not buying anything else? Is our money not good enough in other industries? That's all I'm asking. So I'm happy for the people who are making money, and they must make money consciously knowing they are part of eroding this very fragile society that we are living in. And it's fine for them. It's business, and we all must make our money. You know, people say you can't force people to drink. Of course you can't, and we can't stop people. But we have a problem as a nation. Yeah. And not just South Africa. When I say black people, I don't mean here. Yes. Kenya, Nigeria, America, Jamaica. We have it's a problem.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
You started your radio career in The Voice of Soweto.
Yeah.
How was that like? And also transitioning to then commercial radio.
So I was a very curious young woman, I must say. I was very curious, very confident, very ambitious, very inquisitive. I actually went to what is Soweto Community Radio now, Josie FM now. Yeah, when it was Soweto Community Radio, to go for training, because I read up, saw it in the Soweto, and that there's a new community licenses are going to be issued. They're training for young people at Resese Dube, Makibeli Tex, Pimville, Para, Dube ngafika lapha ngahlangana nabo Kabzela nabo Njomani nabo bani ngathi nami ngifuna ukwenza lento ready bathi hayi yazini this is the studio but kahle kuzoba ne training but isebenza kanje siyalayita la, this is the fader and all of that and the mic and whatever, but we're only going to do formal stuff. I think that time it was probably like maybe it was in June holidays or something, and then we're gonna do it towards December or in the new year. I think it was either December or June. I don't remember very well. But into the new year. And that new year, I was going to matric. So Voice of Soweto Community Radio is the first place I ever went into a studio, played around, and they were like, yeah, that's the training. I mean, you just go on air when the day comes. I was like, these people, are they serious? So that was it. And then I knew those guys, some of those guys from there, because some of them were from Pimville and elsewhere. And then the following year, obviously now when these formal community licenses come about, I hear that there's another station called Voice of Soweto, the Voice of Soweto, in at the Carlton Center in Commissioner Street next, and I at the time, now I've passed matric, I'm studying part-time, I am doing a PR job, well, not PR job, PA job, I'm studying PR part-time. So I'm working at the Carlton Center in the office block, and then this station, but it's in Fox Street. So I also read about it.
Yes.
There's Fox Street. I read about it. There's a group of young people here that are doing this meeting. Finally fix the CV nya faxa.
We're gonna
fax la. Sebenza khona ngiya faxa. But you can come in and 5. But you can come in, we'll be here. Yes. I mean, if you work in a production or radio station, you know that people are always hanging out there.
Exactly.
So 5 ngiyangena lapha ngisisobuya emsebenzini ngifaka amakwayikwayi kundini le ama-sheer stockings eziwathanda. Ama-sheer nesiketi sakhona. I'm a serious 18-year-old PR student. Ngiyafunda ngikhuluma isilungu. Ngena lapha eVoice of Soweto, abobondo Ntuli, abozek Dakile, umpumi uqotsile bathi hey ubani ke lo? Inwele ngishayele hairstyle le yabo ngifasa iphondo but hayi la ziyachisa ngithi ngizofunda indaba. That's how I got to a voice. And then obviously they said you can start. I think when I went it was on a Friday or some Thursday. They were like, come on Saturday morning. Your training is literally you going live on air. This is a bulletin. This is what it looks like when you come on Saturday. The first bulletin is at 9. You better be here early. I think I was there at 8. And then at 5:30 you go to where you collect the news. And then you collect, because it was bebanga's fake. So you have to. So they were faxed to them, and then you run across, you fetch the news, and then you must run back to the studio. To actually, I don't remember if we had a fax there at the time or not, why we had to run across. But you had to run, you had to time it. To run, and then you come back, and then you go straight.
On time.
You go straight on air, you read the bulletin. And then I read my first bulletin 9 in the morning at Voice of Soweto. My parents were listening from Pimville. And then after that, I get on the phone. Did you hear me? I didn't say that. So that's how it happened. And I think, prior to that, I was listening to Radio Bob, Teach My Taz, Temba Madumo. One of my friends that I was studying with, a technical essay, was a younger sister, Brenda Sisani. And then I had entered Miss Soweto as well when I was in grade 11, the year before grade 11. I've been position. I entered Miss Soweto. I was a finalist. I was so happy. You mustn't eat too much. You'll get fat during the 2 weeks of the finals. I didn't care. I had fun. I think I was the youngest. I was probably like 14 or 15, something like that. I was like the youngest, and all the hot, beautiful girls of Soweto were there. So then it was Radio Pop was the radio partner. So Notemba was the MC, and Titch Matez and all the team. George Manyosi, Benduko came. So I met some of those guys. So I kind of like had a picture of the world of media, seeing them, and obviously comparing to reading, because I was reading Drum Magazine, City Press. I was that kind of girl, reading City Press, The Star. My dad every day came home with City Press. came home with The Star and Sowetan under the arm. So that, so I would read that after that. So I read on the world of entertainment, and now, so by the time I got to that whole Soweto Community Radio, Voice of Soweto, I was like, I think this thing can take me some. I can, I was like, look, funding TV, but you finally in the teachers training. Hey, that thing's gonna take long, man. Teachers training, teachers training. It's gonna take long. There's gotta be another way. So then I got on radio, and then voila. They said you can host a show 12 midnight whenever. So I'd read news on Saturday, and then try out 12 midnight graveyard shift. And before I knew it, I got the hang of it, of radio. And then I was like, I don't want this news thing. And then that's how I left the newsroom. I left the newsroom and focused on being a host.
Yeah. And you were at some point called the Fly One, because you were fly. And everybody wanted to be Penny Lebyane.
Really, guys? Like, this is news. Everyone tells me that they wanted. I'm like, I didn't know this.
I promise you, everyone's like, Penny Lebyane, because you were the it girl. You were, still are. But then, because you had that name, the Fly One, you know?
So you know, I was doing my radio. I get to Metro, obviously, 21, turning 22. I start 3 to 6 in the AMs. But I'm a girl about town. I was going to hip-hop, kwaito events, any musical events, social events. I'm part of this. So by the time I got to Metro, I had already been to the South African Music Awards. I had been to like the television awards. And then I had, you know, some friends, because when I worked at Voice, and then I was working, and then I literally moved out at home. I told my parents, no, I can't be doing this thing of, because when we're at the station, sometimes we finish at 12 midnight, sometimes we go out to events. So I'm going to get a place. My mom was like, you can't move out. So I moved to Yeovil. And I stayed in Yeovil while I was working at Voice of Soweto. And I met people who worked for like City Press, who worked for Drum Magazine, who were my age mates, but some were, you know, 2 years or so older, had just came out of university. They're like, they're new graduates and interns at like Mail and Guardian. So you get exposed to like, to that
media
industry at a bigger scale. And then, I mean, when I was at Miss Soweto, for example, I was friends with Kathy Matl, who was from Pimville, who was sort of like my older sister come chaperone, and she was friends with people like Lindelani Mkhize, Duma Silela. So now I'm at Voice of Soweto. It's Kwaito is building up. I know Dineo, Tukula Shabalala's sister. I go with them to concert. So by the time I get to Metro, I already have, the industry knew who I was. Like when I say the industry, like record companies knew who I was, magazines, you know, Drum Magazine. I had been featured as like a young upcoming radio star. You know, fashion people. So when I get to Metro, I get to Metro full of confidence and content and my own little network that I've established. You know, so then I start writing. You know, I mean, I do this radio show. I start talking about going with which event is happening, what happened at the event, and then I do that on Studio Mix. So. And the people
like the gig guide.
The gig guide. So the people on Studio Mix picked me up because of exactly that, because I had been going to events and seeing me, and then you know, they know me from some elements of Voice of Soweto a little bit, and then obviously now when I joined Metro, literally, I think I got simultaneous gigs. I got that Studio Mix thing happened, and then now I'm on Metro. So everyone is like, who's this girl? You know, like, who's this girl?
There's the Lebyane name flying now.
Yeah, who's this girl? But the people who are going to socials, like the Deep Cliff crew, Pimville crew, you know, some musicians in Kwaito, they're like, Sam Azupeni. Uhamba nathi, you know. So abantu base SABC, they're like, everywhere. Yes, uyapapa. So it started from uyapapa to because we were hip hop kids. It's like, she's fly, man. She's like, she's fly. So and basically that just transformed when City Press, you know, said, you know, Mapule said to me, do you know what you do? You're like a fly on the wall at different events, and you're so colorful and you're bright. You know, you're the fly one. You know, so me and Mapule and Philippe sort of like coined it like that, and the column became the social butterfly. Because I'm the fly one. And you know, Queen Latifah was like Flavor, and then the Fly Girls were on that dance show with the Wayans brothers, you know, as well on SABC 1, I think at the time, in Living Color. So the girls were called the Fly Girls, you know, because they were like sassy, hip hop. So they were like, yeah, you like those Fly Girls. So I became the fly one because of my hip hop friends, Abo Amo and everyone else, and it just morphed into this personality and this character, which was a good thing, but at the same time was a crazy thing, because it was the beginning of tabloids.
Yeah.
So then you just become this person, this
Yeah,
person that
every time.
So they can be spoken about because people buy agas gutubani.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm like, guys, what? But you're interesting, Penny. What must happen? You're on TV, you're on radio, you're at events, you make news. And I hated it. So
I was actually about to ask you, how does that make you feel? Because then you'd have about Fat Joe and all these people talking.
So I hated it. And the guys, like Abu Fetcho, who were at Y, they like, why did I hate it? Because they felt like I was doing
instigating it.
Like I was like, I hate this whole thing. I don't want this attention.
Yeah.
I just want to do my job because I'm trying to secure a writing job at City Press. I'm trying to secure a job at Metro. Where you're a young woman working with experienced, mature people who just think we are rasa, you're all over the place, uhamba mapati, you know, and you're part of this crazy young people who think they are with it.
Yes.
And then you're just like, hi, bo, I can go to these events, come back and talk about it. It's content.
Yeah.
You know?
Just so because I get the attention.
I get the attention. Yeah. And then it's like that. And then obviously I interact, like when I lived in Yeovil, I lived with an American girl, a Canadian girl, a German girl. So I have these white friends, but you didn't go to Sacred Heart. So was abantwana base Sacred Heart abakwazi. Awufunda ngeBanato, awuya ngeWeverly Girls,
Holy
Who is
Cross.
this girl? Awuya ngeHoly Cross. Also miss.
Yeah.
Like you're not uyaphi this girl, uyapapa that girl is just upheni everywhere. But uyaphi lo mntana? Hayi bengifunda eThabajabula. Njani?
Yeah.
Ukhuluma eYFM bathi ukhuluma isilungu asimfuni. Metro bathi uyaphapha abangani bakho unetwenga. Yeah, so it was a very interesting a space, you know, when you're young, you're pioneering in a space, you're trailblazing, you don't even know what you're doing, you know, and now you're getting this attention. There's no manager to tell you, Guti, this is what you do, you must do. There is no, all I know, Guti, I don't want to be one of these drunk girls in the industry. I don't want to be known for how many boyfriends I've had. Yeah, I just know Guti, I don't want to be any of those girls. Yeah. I don't want to. I just want to be
to elevate
my, I'm gonna elevate my surname. I'm gonna do my work. You know, I'm going to be like a shadow twala for my generation, and then footing zoba Felicia, Mangfuna. Like you saw,
you've got to a vision for
but at the same time,
other people don't understand.
I'm not too much of a goody tissue. My girlfriend can't go to clubs. I'm like, me, I'm going to be at the club. I have my gay friends. At the same at the same time, so and then you can't be good. Oh, zenza ngono uhambe isonto. Awukhulumi ngesonto. Into yakho nje leyo. Abantu they must never know ukuthi when you are sonta. Yeah, yabo. And then mawuse sontweni umntwana ozithobile. And then mawuse clubini uyazijayivela uphuza amanzi nabangani bakho.
Do what the Romans do.
You church, you focus when we are getting a Sunday for lunch. Yeah. So that was that. And that's how the Fly One came about. And then I was writing for City Press. Then I writing for True Love. Then you are on magazine covers. It's
yeah. The universe is just remember that's what you wanted.
Yeah,
so you wanted to elevate it. So it had to happen in one way or other.
That's why it's happening.
Yeah. Penny, please tell me about your bundles of joy.
My bundles of joy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a firstborn at home, so I have always been like a deputy
parent.
I was raised by ukokwam, so I stayed with my grandmother when I was in Bushbuckridge. Also my aunt Mamkulwam, and then I stayed with like on my father's side, Baba Mngani and his wife. So my younger brother who comes after me, Ulebu, came to stay with me. So I was sort of like given a sense of responsibility very early. But when I came to live like in Soweto, and obviously I actually wanted to go to boarding school, and my parents were like, "Hi, well, you just got here. We are happy, you know, and you're gonna go to school like Lokshin." I had my own plans. I don't want. I was being alfuni Lokish. I was like, I don't want to stay here. I was like, I don't want to be that. So my siblings, obviously, we all like now together for the first time. My younger sister, Uprenda, who was born while Tina were in Bushbuckridge. And then my younger brother, Uneo, gets born. So I literally, my high school years is me and my siblings navigating, going to school, holding their hands, helping with the washing and all of that. So I wasn't very keen on being a parent.
Yeah.
And I was very strict. I wanted to get married, have my kids, take a few years off to raise them, and then to start the second phase of my career.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my relationship plans didn't go accordingly. So, when I have my kids, I'm like 27, 28. I have my son then. And then I have my daughter like 2 years after that. And I think by the time I was pregnant with my son, I just knew that I don't think things are going to go the way
you had initially planned in your head.
Yeah, and then at the same time, I'm very stubborn, but I have to listen to my mom and everyone else. Like most of my female friends who are mainly older than me used to say to me, Penny, men are like this. You have to beg as hell. And I just used to think, hey, for what? I don't have time for this. But there's no guy you're gonna have to, uzithobe for ini.
Yeah, I've got a brain on my own. Like
and you have to change. The fly one had to die. That was the thing, and I was like, guys, I don't understand this whole thing. Yeah. But these people met me because I'm this very person. That's part of who I am, and I'm also, responsible at home and whatever. But what is this thing that now I must be something that I'm not? So I struggled with that, and I didn't really have the language for it. But now I kind of say, I was in tune with myself. I remember by saying, if you're already behaving like this and then you're like 25, what guy do you think is going to marry you? And then I'll be like, hey, but audition then. So by the time I had my kids, I was just like, once I decide I'm having a child, it was like, it's me and this child. And then if this person comes to the party, well and good. If they don't, I get strong. So literally it just became like that. So my children they're like my little heroes. Yeah. I mean, obviously they don't think so. They think Yashupa or whatever the heck is. But they're my inspiration.
All kids think Yashupa.
Yeah, they think Yashupa. They just think it's Yolona. They don't think I'm not cool enough. So yeah, they're like my heart in human form.
Yeah.
They're my dreams, they're my aspiration. They're what I also dream for children of this country.
Yeah.
They're the things that my parents could do what they know based on what they know.
Yeah.
People say that those of us who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, we had to raise ourselves.
True.
We had to defend ourselves, protect ourselves. Our parents just said, "Yay!" and but we were out there in the world figuring it out. So with my kids, I try to help them navigate the space, and obviously they have to figure certain things out for themselves. But I'm there holding their hand, and I think because my mom was like a full-time at-home mom, I learned what it's like to be a full-time mom, and then I also learned out of that like what I like about it and what I don't like about it. I liked the fact that when you get home, mom is there, but I also didn't like it when she gets home and she's been doing laundry the whole day and she hasn't eaten and she wants me to make food, and I was like, I'm okay, why haven't you eaten?
So it's like a bad.
Yeah, so I know things like that. Like it's important for me to be at home when the kids are there. But they must look forward to me being at home. And then also I was like, how do I continue to have my own career, and then that my children are not like a hindrance, that they're more of like an inspiration, they're more like an encouragement, they're like they give me the reason to fight on, so to say, because the entertainment industry is very tough.
It is.
Like you were told,
and brutal.
Yeah, and brutal. I was told, Guti, you guys don't ask doctors that. You don't ask accountants that. They're like, yeah, but those people have real jobs. I'm like, yeah, this is also a real job. And it was very difficult to convince people, because also it was people in the industry who'd speak like that. Men are held to a different standard. Women are held to a different standard. And you had to navigate that. And I was part of a a generation, and one of those young women who were just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm not following that pattern. And with other women as well, to say, yeah, that's what happened to you and your friends and your generation. That's not what's going to happen to me.
True.
So and it wasn't like a personal thing. It was just saying our journeys are different, and then I am envisioning a different journey for myself.
And the times are not the same.
And the times are changing, and I want to be part of that change. I want to be part of advocating for that change. And then I mean, now I have the language and I sound so smart when I say it. But at the time I didn't know what I was just like, Oksala mina ke after 13 ngizongibona.
Yeah.
And
then ngempela bakuboni.
Bangibona after. But and then you have children, and then mana abantwana yazi yonke into iyaphela ngathi hayi ngeke ngiyibone leyo. Mina ngiyajima, ngiyawalka, akunakuthi ngizoba umama wabantwana la. Ngiyasebenza.
Yeah.
Hey, awuya ama clubbing ngithi njani? Uclubbing njani zingena selendlini neneni or no mama.
Yeah.
Or no baba.
Yeah.
Mushito
True.
So that was that. So yeah, that's me and my kids.
Yeah. Your advocacy work. Tell us about that. I love that because I think there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes that people don't speak about.
Yeah.
Mara, one tweet from Upen, those are the whole of South Africa.
Guys, it's
Ngithi bayaphuma bame ngamagown, But I think it's a general societal thing, Joe. When you do good, it's not interesting enough. It's like tabloids. Tabloids because when you went and did something good for young women or some sanitary pads and stuff like that, unless you pay for that media. So So I want us to tell our followers about the work that Penny does behind the scenes.
So I think, I told you that I studied PR part-time, right?
Yes.
And I had a lot of journalist friends.
Yes.
And I understood the ecosystem of what happens in the newsroom.
Yeah.
And then I've had this I have this amazing mentor, spiritual mom called she was Gail Hamilton when she first arrived in South Africa. She was Gail Masondo, umama ga Zion of Liquid Deep, and she's married to Babu Victor Masondo. So I met her when I was at Voice of Soweto. I think I was 18 turning 19 or 17 turning 18, my early days at Voice of Soweto. And this woman was managing Take 6, the band. And Take 6 is a Grammy Award winning band. She's been in the entertainment industry. She's coming to South Africa. And we met, I mean, when you're like 18 and you're meeting Huma Sekela, who just came back from America, and you're meeting Miriam Makeba, who just came back from America, and you are meeting people like Yvonne Chaka Chaka around the corner in Commissioner Street. She used to have a hair salon there. And you are going to the salon to do your hair in Commissioner Street. You sitting along the line where this Kanye Dlomo is cutting her hair. And then before you know it, you are doing something at the Carlton Center. Shadow Twala is standing there. And then you're
that's the woman.
Yeah, that's the woman. And you read Tribute magazine, you see her writing about social issues. So you live ePimville, opposite Jasekhaya, Klalubab Keza Ngwenya, who was a drum magazine, prolific writer. So you and other people, Mam Dora's told. So you realize there's important people in society. They're on magazine covers, they make news, they say things that resonate, that move the nation. And also, you're a child who, when the dawn of democracy is happening, the political activists and political prisoners are coming out. You hear them talking. That stuff is ingrained in you. You hear Felicia talking about the importance of doing the work. So you're caught up with, I was always caught up between being a young person who's having so much fun and it's freedom, and you are moving in the suburbs, but uhlale lokishini. And then when unamakazini ase pushback reach. So it's like when you want to be remembered to when I saw Brenda Fasomnani. And I was like, angifuni to go that way. I want to be Winnie Mandela nyano nekrachnyana
woman of
woman of
substance.
substance yabo and then naso sonke ukukhuluma ngabo women of substance so uhlanganisa laba wabonile in media uhlanganisa nalabo besonto uthi yona lento le izohlangana
nalaba babhalayo
uyafaka lapho so it became like that. I think it took me a while to say I do advocacy work. It took me a while to say I do activism work because I thought, yes, I'm an activist because they do real work.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. So, but I got lucky that I got to work, for example, with Love Life when they first came into the country, and they were like, imagine an AIDS-free generation. And then I got to understand what development work is. There's policy, and then in that policy that the government wants, and then the strategy to get that policy conversation to the general public, and then media is a vehicle to do that. And then as someone with a public profile, you can be a carrier of messages. So if when I own information, we're going to eseyibhaliwe ngestrategy ukhulume yona utshele ipublic so even if they catch a little bit of it so slowly you do that so that's how my advocacy work literally started. So when I was at Voice, it was a question of I would have conversations, for example, about mental health. I remember I'm on air, I used to do 12 to 3, people working night shift. Umuntu has been in stress, in bese ngikhuluma nalayo umuntu on air for 30 minutes. Kanti Junior Mutse was a writer at the Sowetan, and he was listening to that conversation. And he actually wrote an article based on listening on me. And then that's part of like how my advocacy work started. This is at Voice before I even get to Metro. So when I get to Metro now, I start working with people like Love Life. I start working with the Mental Federation of South Africa, South African Depression, and so I'm literally doing advocacy work. And then what I also didn't realize was even wearing South African fashion designers is advocacy work because you're championing for local design. Local design is local businesses. Local businesses is entrepreneurship. You're supporting women who are makeup artists, hair guys. You're doing advocacy. You're using your platforms, your voice, your personality, your spaces of influence to advance certain industries and causes. So it became like that. But it was not easy for me to say, Penny, I'm an advocate for this, or I do activism for this. So I slowly built it like that. And I think around 2012, the MTN Foundation did this thing where they were honoring, when Mom Albertina Sulu passed away, they were like, they're going to select women in media and radio space who, they had budget, I don't know how many, 1.2 million or something. And then they were giving each of us 100,000. We were like 12 of us. They called us Yellow Roses for, being on radio and using your voices to advance certain causes in honor of Mama Albertina Sisulu. So, and for the first time I was like, okay, now I think I can have a foundation. And then I went to Bushbuckridge. Obviously here at Soweto, I've done things like you'd go to school, read for kids, if Batwafunama, school uniform, January you donate, on World Language Day you go, you do those kind of things, and you're contributing to causes. So then for the first time then in 2012 I went to Bushbuckridge, to the old schools that I attended, and then I did vegetable gardens. I took sanitary pads, I took books, I collected books and went to go donate, and I went to all my old schools to see my old teachers, and then there was cultural performances, and it was beautiful. And I was like, okay, slowly but surely I want to do things like this, speak to some of my childhood friends from there and say, let's do something. Then my sister, cousin who's a teacher, and aunt who's a principal, they say, in that district, let's take you to, and then you start doing those kind of things. And slowly but surely, because you're doing this out of your little pocket
Yeah.
where you have bundles of joys to feed.
Yeah.
You could have eaten 100,000 by yourself, but you were scared to go to
Yeah,
if I
sharing
eat,
is caring.
yeah, you're like, if I eat this 100,000, yo, bazofala ngami. But ngiyambona uPenny udla imali ingadi.
Fly.
So yeah, she flew off with the money. So you do little things like that, and for me, it's not the big things. It's the little things that you
count.
do, that you
Yeah.
count, you know,
Yeah.
that you do, and that has been part of my brand DNA. It's part of who I am. I volunteer, I volunteer, whether it's at church, whether it's at schools, whether it's at community. I just volunteer. I give of my time. I go to children's homes, women's shelter, and I keep those relationships over the years. I might go there once, twice a year, but I have a relationship. I'm consistent.
Yeah.
If they need to publicize something, they know they can call me.
Yeah.
If they know that they need someone to tell the world about their work. So I started literally doing it like that, and then I use my social media platforms to do that for a lot of NGOs. And now it's interesting with this. After I had that alcohol conversation, now I'm working with the Central Drug Authority. I'm working with the Southern African Alcohol Policy Alliance. So now I'm really like in the work. Yeah, in the work that says, how do we change laws?
Yes.
How do we educate about these policies? Because everyone talks about how in South Africa we've got the best constitution, but as citizens we don't interact and interface, engage with it, and it's not a job of politicians. It's a job of us. Because if bavula la kule strategy baqala bavula ama-tavern ayi-10, do you know that you guys can sign a petition to say no?
We don't
Most
want
communities don't know that. Most communities don't know that. They think i-tavern iyavulwa. No, your ward councillor must consult you. And you guys as community members, you must have a decorum and you must agree. So those kind of things made me realize that actually that's activism work. That's being an active citizen. So from Love Life to Global Citizen to AIDS campaigning to fashion for food. So it's literally just that. So I'm happy with that I can contribute, I can add my voice. And I also just saw how internationally, like, celebrities, people with public profiles, they can use their voices to change the world. So I want to be part of that. I want to be part of people who are saying, if the people of Deep Kloof don't want spaza shops in their neighborhood, they can lobby. And communities must know that. I was in Cape Town recently. I learned in Cape Town they have dry suburbs where the people decide they don't want places that sell alcohol in their neighborhood. They lobbied. I guess it's the same constitution that we live under. Yini isluguthi sinasiyenzela. Yeah. People are like, kuna ma-tavern ayi-10 la. They don't even know how the taverns came. Or khona bafana balaba yenza in Cape Town there. Those people lobbied. There's a suburb where there's no alcohol. Even at my restaurant, the restaurants know what to. That's just that we just come here. We have drinks, coffee, it's family restaurants. I'm like, wow. How do they do that?
That's how Cape Town is another country.
They're united. And we can. We can do the same thing. We just need to be united. We just need to know what the law is. Obviously not take the law into our own hands, but follow process and do those things. So that's what advocacy is. Anybody can do it.
No, it's because, I mean, what people would read on social media and the penny that I'm sitting with on this couch, guys. Don't believe everything that you read. I don't know what movie. I was watching a movie of sorts. I can't remember what movie it was. One of these series. And it's Lioness. So Lioness it's this special task.
The special task force team.
So this girl, Mama Corner of the team, but like we newspaper and stuff. So the child is asking, Mom, was it really you guys? Don't believe everything that you read in newspapers.
Well, newspapers have to sell what they have to sell. And people always say like there's no smoke without fire. Sometimes there's just fire that's made up. People do that. But also, you gotta take it with the punches when you work in the space, because you're not money. Not everyone is gonna like you.
True.
And also, you when you fascinate people, they have their own way of how they express their fascination about you.
True,
So
yes.
you have a responsibility not to obsess about the fascination that people have about you. So I had to learn very early, Uguti, and when I meet people, for example, I introduce myself, and they're like, "But I know you." I'm like, "No, you don't. You've never met me.
Yeah.
You've met my work.
Yes.
You've met what I do." And then they're like, "Ah, Penny," and I'm like, "Hello, Unjani, my name is Penny."
Yes.
And they're like,
"Pleased to meet you."
yeah, but also it's an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to me.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
But sometimes people don't understand that. And the reality is, you don't know me. You know parts of me.
Or what you read about me.
Yeah, but also what you read about me
May not necessarily be
many
true.
of it is a perception or an angle that. Because remember, newspapers or magazines have an angle. This one is a tabloid. If it's a tabloid, they're going to write their stories a certain way. Remember me, I worked in a newsroom. And it used to frustrate me until I got to a place where I realized, oh, it's a tabloid. They have to sell it like that. So if I don't take it so personal and I'm so angry with it, I treat it like it's nothing. But when it gets very disrespectful, of course, I write to the editor, I sit there, and then I used to write, and then copy management at Metro, and they say, why are you writing that? It's because I should. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to write that, it's going to be in your files and archives, and I used to say, when my son Googles me 20 years from now, imagine what's going to come up. What's going to come up is all this tabloid nonsense. My son is not going to know that I did this work, I helped people, I did this,
exactly
I contributed to this conversation. So I also had to manage that. So part of and if you're going to say that about me and then it's out of line, I'm definitely going to respond. I'm not even going to I studied PR. I'm not even going to get a publicist to write a press release. I'm like, that's a waste of time. I'm writing to the editor myself, and among now I'll tell you, you see that nonsense that you wrote about me? That's nonsense. Oh, Penny, I'm like, I'm like, no.
Because they get taken aback.
I'm like, no, we don't play like that. So if you want to know something about me, ask me. I'll tell you. But don't make up stuff about me that are not true. Because one, I have family. Like, they once wrote something about me and I was at the Summers, and my family, I was at the Summers. They said something on radio while I was at the Summers. My family hears it here. My cousins are like, this thing doesn't add up, because they're saying you were drunk, but I know that you don't drink. So what was going on? And then I'm like, it's the trauma that they had put me through at that particular. I was crying because something happened to me, And then somebody says it live on radio. Then the next day, I'm on the front page. But luckily enough, because my family knows who I am, they were like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Everything is fine. I'm here." And and those are some of the ills and things that you have to deal with in the entertainment industry. You have to be grounded. You have to be rooted in yourself, and you have to do everything to protect yourself.
My next question actually was going to be, do you think enough is being done to protect women, especially in this industry?
I think women have to protect themselves because you're a commodity, and especially if you also allow it. And when I say allow it, some people think because I'm a musician, I've signed a contract with this record company, or I'm an actress, I'm on this production, I work for this radio station. They say, Penny, you have to be at Sun City from Wednesday, broadcasting your show, and then you're gone for 5 days. Okay, I have an obligation to do a 3-hour show, 2 hours, 5, 6 prep and whatever. But the rest of those other hours are my hours. But if you feel that I must work this hours, and then for the rest of those other hours I must please everyone that I work with. If this one says let's go drinking, you must please them because you're scared that they're gonna, you see, that's not what's on your contract. Your contract is 5 hours max. It's 3 hours actually of the show, and then the prep time. Yeah, and then if there's an appearance, there's an appearance. But you need to know where's the appearance. Is it for 2 hours? And you need to be able to quantify it for yourself. So if you don't, you become a commodity. They place you here, they place you there. So in the morning, be here.
Let's go.
So before you know it, you are here. You were drinking at 7. You appeared at 2. At the 2 thing, you were drunk, and then you did your show. I know of people who went with a radio station to the Durban July. They got so drunk they couldn't do their show the next morning. And because they were drinking with the bosses, no one fired them. you know. But let me tell you, their careers in that space didn't last long because from the drinking, other stuff happened. You know, and it happens to men and women. So you need to be careful of not becoming a thing that people use like that. So that's personal accountability. I don't give anyone responsibility to protect me. I give myself that responsibility. And right now, I also am responsible for protecting my children. Yeah. But I also try to teach them to protect themselves. Because people will use you, when you allow them.
Yes.
You know, and then you have to teach people how to treat you. And very early, you know, and then you have to set those rules. So I set those rules for myself, and I live by those rules. I have those boundaries. Doesn't make me popular, but it kept me sane and safe. You know, and it you know, I mean, I've had anxiety and depression that comes with the trauma of being in the space, but I have had minimum, you know, trauma versus if I had, you know, allowed myself to be pulled left, right, and center by everyone. And I fought back on a lot of stuff, and I fought back. I said no to a lot of things. You know, so when my yes is a yes, my no is a no, and it's a no. Yeah. You know, and it's very loud. And people don't like that. They don't like boundaries. They don't like people who are firm. They don't like people who are direct. They don't like people who are resolute. They don't like people who are stubborn. You know, and I am. I'm a Capricorn. I'm very stubborn in that way. Like my ways are my way. And I don't like people to get too familiar with me. And we're in an industry where everybody wants you to get excited when you see them. And no, I don't have to. I'm just like, okay, how is it? I need to warm up to you. I need to like you. I need to be fine. And also, when I'm in my element, in my energy, please don't interfere with me. Leave me. Let me do. So I had to learn those things. So women have to learn to protect themselves, and men and boys too, because it's not just women who get harmed in the space. It's a very exploitative space. It's a very, you know, people can be very evil. And they can use anything from alcohol, muti, you know, conniving, little cults, you know, classicism, you know what I mean? Like things like that.
There's
like
a lot.
There's a lot. So you need
because
to,
it's not here. You don't see it.
So you need to discern, you know, sexual exploitation, you know, little cabals where people backball you, and then they work with certain people, and then they pay each other, and then you know, you don't understand when you don't get promoted, and then they make you do the hard work, and they take the glory for your work. So you have to know those things, and then you also have to. I had to learn over time that, because I used to think I'm not good enough. I used to think, oh, maybe I'm not that talented, or maybe I don't have the skill for that. But also remember, I started early, and it came naturally. And then when I wasn't getting certain things, I was like, maybe I'm not good enough, because I see people coming, you know, getting ahead of me faster, and then I realized, oh, I'm not part of this thing. And then the circle. I had to take it in and evaluate my values, and it was very hard, because you can say, let me just be like everyone else, and then I'll get ahead, and then it'll be like and then you know, I got to that level where it's like,
True.
I'm not going to sell myself short. You know, it might not happen now for me, but it will happen in the long run. So I had to learn to be patient with myself. I had to learn to not take on every battle. I've had to learn to literally be calculating and like, oh, okay, Lucy is using me. Okay, that's fine. How do I just smile?
And pretend everything is rosy.
And just carry on, do my job, keep it moving. Let her believe that what she's doing, I'm stupid. And see how far it goes. And then it's between me and my God. And that saved you. That saves me, because sometimes they don't invite you to certain parties, and then someone dies there. And then you're like, yo! You see? Or someone gets raped there. You know? And then you're like,
thank you, angel.
Yes. Then you're like,
True.
so those are the things I had to do. So you have to protect yourself, because the world is dangerous. not just entertainment industry.
Extremely.
Yeah, the world is a dangerous place, so you have to be vigilant.
Yes.
As well.
And what makes Penny tick? Like, when you're in your element, shut out the noise from the industry. About bundle of joy, they're busy with their bundle of joy things. When and Jesus Penny, what? How do you relax? Gather your thoughts and be like, as in fly one. You did this, man. From the dusty streets of Bushbuck Ridge to Soweto to wherever.
The very luscious green streets of Bushbuck Ridge and the dusty streets of Soweto. So I know the best of both worlds. So I like quiet time. I love music. I can play it loud in my car and sing along. Like, I like long drives and all of those things. But I enjoy walking. So I like to wake up in the morning and go for a 2-hour walk. Everywhere I've lived, I have walked. Before I had my kids, and I don't walk or exercise for looks. I do it for vitality, and that's part of like how I've managed my mental health. I like river walks. So I like to walk in areas where there's like trees and rivers. I mean, it's the Bushbuck Ridge element in me. Yeah. Because Bushbuck Ridge is bushy and leafy and green and beautiful and nature. Yeah. So I enjoy. Yeah. Yes. And mountains. So I like those kind of things. I also like reading. I like writing my thoughts down or recording my thoughts. But I also have like a very intimate, close-knit a group of friends at a time. I've always been like that. I've always been like, if I am friends with you, we have our me time. You might have your 3 other friends and whatever, but I like that. I like whether we hang out, whether we go out, whether we have cooking sessions. Sitting and everyone is cooked and we bring food, and I just like those kind of intimate moments. Besides, obviously, family. I think obviously when I was young, it was more. I was always those people who were at home every Sunday to see my mom. Until I got older, I was like, aye, Zangwam or Zangim, So I like those kind of things. But I also enjoy my own company. Yeah. Like I'm those people who can rock up at a club by herself.
Really?
Yes.
A club?
Yes, a club. I get into a restaurant by myself. I don't go. If I say let's go, and then when I would say, hi, Uncle Shaw.
You're gone.
I'm gone. I don't have time for you. If you want to come, I'll find other people in Pambili. Yeah, I'm like that. I'm very, very independent like that. Yeah. If I decide I want to drive to Bushbuck Ridge by myself, I can do it. Yeah. So I'm very self-reliant. It's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing, because my friends sometimes go, but I'm like, hey, bo. Yeah, bo. I mean, I have siblings, but when it's chai time, it's chai time. And radio also taught me that to be like literally so focused in my head in studio, to play, do that. So I like that. I like me time. Sometimes my kids will, you would know with kids. Sometimes you're at home and they're busy with their own thing. Yes. And then when you arrive, they're happy for you for 30 minutes. After that, they're gone. And there's like that silence.
I know it. Like my son, Mama!
Yeah.
He gives me a hug, and then he locks himself in the bedroom, and then I just hear screaming. They're busy playing soccer games, and I'm thinking, how this child.
Yeah. Imagine you were away in Cape Town. You were meant to feel bad for 3 days. Good. Yeah. When are you coming back? And then you come back. It's 30 minutes. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I also enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy, but I love my walks. Oh, I think my walks are just the best. I just walk. I walk, watch people. Strangers hooting at me, strange men greeting you. Bumping into other ladies very serious in their walks. Yeah. You're just like, it's like, yeah. It's just 10 Ks to go. Yeah, it's like, it's like, so I enjoy those kinds. So those are the things that keep me going. But I love people. I love socializing. I love meeting new people. I enjoy that as well.
Love Life?
I Love Life is an organization for... Love Life is an organization for for giving information on HIV and AIDS. Angazi the love life okhuluma ngayo wena. Mina angazi the only love life I know is that one.
No, can I tell you, I had Ulinda Matsolo here the other day.
Yeah.
And she's like, you, Ibusi, you know, I love life. I'm here, and like, I'm so unlucky in love. I'm like, okay, Jonga. I see she's had this she bought a green suitcase, which she put in a corner, and she said, one day I'm going to Joburg. And that green suitcase in Zohamba Night Joburg. She gets an opportunity to come to Joburg. The green suitcase, she comes with it. Then she has to go back to Cape Town, back and forth. But the green suitcase is there. And she's like, all my thoughts and my dreams and my wishes started with the green suitcase. I put it there. Did you get a Jonga? Green suitcase, a man, girl. Zobon. Guess what?
She was green suitcase.
Guess what?
Yeah.
7 July.
She got
a plane with a man. Did you have money? Green suitcase, it works.
It will come. It's very interesting after 40, you know. You know when you know who you are, you know what you want.
If it's there, it's there.
If it's there, if it's not.
Yeah.
And also,
and you're not going to compromise or take anything just because you want to tick a box.
Some of my friends say to me, I'm too picky. I mean, I don't know. I'm just... It will come, man. It's not... If
it's meant to happen.
Yeah, if it's meant to... It'll come.
It's not a vision board.
It's not a... It'll come. And at the right time, the right moment, the right energy. I mean, there's people who are always hollering and saying things, you know. Men will holler all the time. Niggas will nigga. You know, you know, and then also, you know, I grew up and spent a lot of time with men, so I know their playbook. Yeah. so I will be the only girl with 5 guys, and I'll be the wing girl with them.
Yeah.
At a restaurant, and we'll be discussing the hot girl that just arrived and what. Yeah. So you know, sometimes I mean. And sometimes when I spend time with girls and then it's like we're talking about man and I just go, those people don't even discuss y'all at that level. So I also need to sort of like shift my energy, and then I also need to obviously be with someone who understand that I'm that kind of a girl. I'm very versatile like that. I'm very
like a man.
I'm very multifaceted. Yeah, I mean, yes, I have been exposed. And so you need to come with a lot of like maturity, you know, and leave a lot of BS verified. Don't come to me to play games that you play with 25-year-olds. I mean, it's not a thing. And so, I mean, companionship is a thing that we all deserve, and a good friendship and a good partnership. But at the right time. I mean, if I'm going to be the church girl, it's what the word of God says. But I mean, we can't force donkeys to drink water.
You cannot.
You cannot. Yeah. So, it's the heart is open, you know. The heart is open. It just has to happen.
Let's see what the universe...
Well, you know...
It has to be aligned with the universe and God and
everything else.
And your heart.
And my heart.
And your instinct as well.
And my instincts as well. Yeah, it's just that, you know, also that weird thing that I'm dealing with now is like, guys just, even if you're over 40, they're like, manje, in last born. I'm like, guys. So so that for me is like a turn off. You know, I'm just like, don't come here with playing games. Last Bonnian, where were you when we were making babies?
Yes.
Yeah. So
who's making babies now?
Like, I'm like, please, man, dude, like, stop it. You know, so those are the other things where I'm just like, no, you know. And men are very interesting. They all come with fascinating things. Like there's divorced ones who are very fragile. There's widows who are still, and you're just like, hi, bo.
Yeah. Good number titles.
Lana. I'm like, hey, guning. So about ngale 40. Ziyakhala is very interesting. It's very interesting.
Hey,
yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Where to for Penny from here? Future aspirations, anything you're working on?
It's a life of gratitude. You know, me, I'm my heart is open. My mind is agile. I am constantly working on improving myself. I'm constantly applying myself on how can I add value and have impact. I'm obviously focused more on like my legacy work. Like I have been doing this for almost over 30 years. You know, I am a child of transition of this country, and our country is going through so much, and the world itself is going through so much. And then my commitment is I'm constantly opening myself to adding value, to driving conversations forward, you know, to being an active citizen, to being a supportive present parent, a sister, daughter, friend, you know, and a healed woman, you know, a woman who's walking in her truth, who's comfortable in her skin, you know, who is legacy focused. So that's what's next. Next is legacy. It's like I've been building this legacy, but now it's like this is my legacy. It's like this is it. This is my legacy. So that's what's in store for me. It's not a project. It's like so if I do a project, it part of my.
It has a start and an end date.
Yeah, is it aligned to my legacy? Yeah. So even if is aligned to my legacy. So it's telling more stories. It's celebrating South Africa and Africa. It's celebrating women. It's adding my voice to causes that need you know, to be seen and heard. So I'm currently also doing some work with Yvonne Chaka Chaka for Women Radio. She's got an online radio station. So I'm part of that, and to collaborating with her, encouraging young women who want to pursue careers in radio, building a platform, a radio station that's about women, celebrating women, you know, African women from all walks of lives, from all corners of the continent, with one mission of feeding their nations, of building the world, of adding value as they thrive, you know, things like that. I'm part of like a project with one of my PR company business partners called Sagaza. We want to advance the conversation about financial inclusivity for women. You know, when banks and governments and corporates saying that we're investing in women, we want to track that. We want to say, you are investing. Okay, how much did you invest?
Yes.
Did you really give it to her? Where's the money? You know? Yeah. So instead of like people say, companies saying, we're giving money, are you banking on her? Yeah. So those are the kind of things that I'm working on. And just celebrating and living life.
Yes, girl. Penny, any words of encouragement to that camera over there, to young girls, young women who see themselves, you know, as Penny Lebyane, you know, who want to be in radio, who want to be on TV, but who don't, I mean, people think this industry is just glitz and glam.
I am sure. I think by now they know that it's not. Nah, I mean, by I pretend.
Not all of them. Maybe Abasesoweto bias because Bonaveli life is very fast forward. But there are those in Ekebecha somewhere. You know what? Then there's one maybe Washat, KZN, because I come from there. Maybe Pushback Ridge. What's again? Then now one day. Get la fitla mole.
Well, you know, whether you're in Pushback Ridge, Ekebecha, or Matatiele, or Mutetema, you can't be the next Penny Lebyane. You can be the next you. And that's for boys and girls. Yeah. You can't be the next person. You have to cultivate what you bring to the space. Yeah. You know, and I think always have a mindset of like, how do I add on? You know, for me it was like I was never wanting to subtract what Shero Twala has done, what Zandile Nzalo has done, what Brenda Sisani has done, what Notemba Madumo has done, what Felicia Mabuza Sattler has done, what Nolene has done. No, it was always like, how do I add and bring a Penny signature to that? Because we all have our own, you know, DNA. And I think one of the saddest thing, like, you know, with a generation, for example, that literally just comes after me, they're all obsessed with being like one person, you know, or trying to be like someone. Guys, that stuff doesn't work. Your audience They're the smartest people. They allow you to do that nonsense and just watch you. They're like, oh, there's Penny trying to be so and so.
Yeah.
Guys, it's
It's
not that they don't know. And when they start telling you, you think, they don't like me. They've been watching you the whole time.
You've been copying
You've
and
been
pasting.
copying and pasting. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not that. We are all born with our own DNA. When we say no DNA, just RSA, we mean that. We mean that you are so unique that you can contribute in your own way. You have to find comfort in who you are. You have to, and it's little things. I mean, I'm looking at your wall. You have your Stagazelo there.
Yes.
That gives you your unique identity.
True.
You know.
Yeah.
My story. I tell people my story doesn't start in Soweto. And let me tell you, I could have started it there. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have. I could have just said, no, I grew up in Soweto.
Yes.
And even
because
like,
you want to belong and fit
yes,
in.
I want to fit in.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. Soweto is another aspect of my life. I was born in Bushbuckridge.
Yeah.
And being from Bushbuckridge gives me an edge. Just like having a little bit of Soweto gives me an edge.
Yes.
So when you combine all of those things, makes me me. You can't be me. You can't, my nuances, my mannerism, my cultural exposure, all of those things.
Yeah.
Collectively. And I have to collect them. I have to embrace them. I have to like them. I have to discard certain things. And I have to say, oh, I don't like it, but it's a part of me.
Yeah.
Ooh, how do I use it? You know. So you have to do that for yourself to become that. And the world is looking for that. The world is looking for originals. They're not looking for copycats. They're not looking for another. And also, you be kind. The world can be so mean. You can choose to be one of the people who are just kind, who are supportive, who are collaborative. You know, who doesn't walk around with an air about yourself? I'm the most beautiful girl. I'm the most famous. I'm the most. I don't even think Mandela walked around and saying things like that. So stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like stop it.
Yeah, kindness is a very big thing. Penny, thank you so much for coming through.
You're welcome.
Is there anything that you'd like our followers to know, or anything that you want to drop, or whatever?
Well, they must support your podcast. They must subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you, my
you
sister.
know, I think I was just like, I was so taken aback when you guys contacted me and say we're recording in Soweto. I was like, of course I'm going. Why not? This is so nice.
Yeah.
It's in Soweto. Let me do that. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So well done. So don't give up. Keep going and keep pushing. And that's just that. There's space for all of us.
True. Yeah, no.
There's space for all of us.
Have you ever seen how large the ocean is?
Yeah, but people walk around like this.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only space, and or when they walk in the room, everyone must stop breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Siyakubongela wena Jehovah. Ngoba you're the one who gives us breath. Can't be like that.
No.
Yeah. So there's room for all of us to excel, to collaborate, to do the work. So thank you for having me on Precious Moments.
Thank you for coming through to Precious Moments.
You're welcome.
And we have a little gift for you on Precious
Alala.
Moments.
Cheers.
Alala. When you are sitting there, uzmamele.
Cheers.
Abantwana basha 30 minutes. Hello, mommy. Bye, mommy. Ooh. And we have a sweater nyana here.
A hoodie for me.
Yes.
Oh, my kids are gonna fight over it.
Way.
Yeah, they're hoodie kids.
Yeah, thank you so much
for
this
coming
is
so
through.
Adorable. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, my honey
It was
bun.
great fun. High five.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Penny Lebyane. You are watching Precious Moments. My name is Busisi Wenomaswazi Gunene. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and do leave your comments and help our channel to grow. Ciao.